Wait, go on. Sorry. I
Oh,
had something to say about the government,
yeah,
but
it was just like I wasn't say like it's just like the something about the government. I totally forgot now. I got kind of lost looking at you because you look so fucking
because dude,
giddy.
it fucking at one point it gets really the government gets really shady and like and it's just dude and again when I texted you I was like history's repeating itself like towards the end just like power hungry people trying to preserve their way of life like the rich inner wall
Oh,
people.
that's what you're talking about. I thought you were talking about like how it mimicked real life. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, dude, yeah, this anime is
Well, I mean,
it's like a
well,
social
dude,
commentary. Well, what the fuck is happening?
I mean, it is. I mean, it's just the classic, like, people in power eventually, when they're pushed to like make hard choices, will choose themselves over like what they swore to protect, which is like humanity. But these like greedy people will like protect themselves. Like I said, there's that one scene where Erwin or whatever is being tried basically in front of the king for like his treasonous acts or whatever.
Yeah,
And then that girl busts in the door and she goes, the Titans have taken Walmaria, blah, blah, blah. And then right away, those government dudes are like, seal the wall. And then everyone's like, what? Why? The refugees need to come in. Like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you going to say to people? He goes, we don't have the resources for the refugees, this, and that. And then Pixis or whatever, that general, like says, I've heard enough. And he goes, that was fake. Your true intentions have been revealed. Like, that kind of shit to me was like spot on, dude. Like these fat fucking people at the top, just like basking in the inner city or whatever, surrounded by three or four fucking walls, and their job is to protect humanity and protect everyone. They choose themselves. That shit to me
yeah,
was so like was perfect, dude. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. It's like it's really true. And then towards the end, you start to notice like it kind of happens again. Like these people at the top start to like they know about like Aaron, his powers and all that stuff, and they're like, oh, we need to get someone to eat Aaron basically, so we can have the power, so we can control everything. It turns more into like who it goes from like humanity to like people in power to humanity again. It's like, oh, we need the power again, because
yeah,
if you have power, you rule everything.
hmm
I
yeah.
really like that about the show. I actually really liked like the politics. I liked like the shady government. I liked like the people trying to do right. The people just kind of some people just get caught in the wave of like,
hmm
this like struggle and like our casualties. And I thought that part of the anime was like really good. Like really, really
Oh,
like you said, reflects like real life.
oh, dude, like when they got into like the villagers' lives and their perspective on what was going on, especially in season 4, like when they talked about the when the people in
The
what
internment zone.
internment zones and stuff. Okay, what's that place called again? Like Paris? Is it
Mar- oh,
Marley?
Paradis.
Marley's
Marley
Marley,
is
right?
Marley, and then there's the internment zone within Marley, and then Paradis was like where we started, like
Yeah,
where the walls are and like all that shit.
yeah. So like even like in Marley, like you saw how their society is like with the people who aren't descendants of Ymir and the people who are. Even though these
The
guys are the ones,
Eldians,
yeah, even though these are all the guys who are fighting the wars, they're still viewed as second class citizens, right? Who are being
dude.
punished for their crimes and stuff. And just so much misinformation is being spread about what happened in the
Oh,
past, dude. Oh,
dude, I also really liked how they talk about like the newspaper and like what people perceive as being like powerful. Like there's that one scene where like that Kenny guy or whatever, that Kenny guy was badass by the way, but he kills that one merchant and then like the MPs tell the newspaper like, "Oh, the scouts did it. The
yeah,
scouts did it for sure." And then this one guy, like this one rookie newspaper writer who's with like the veteran, he's like, "But how do you know that? Like, did you see it happen?" And the veteran guy's like, "Shut up. If they say it happened, it happened." And then you're like, "Whoa." And then they have to like literally convince the people that it wasn't the scouts by like, doing this like fucking setup on the MPs. I really liked how they talked about like just the media, which is like newspaper was the media, just like influencing like the people, and like public perception was so important to these people in power. It's like that's small kind of a detail in like a show is badass, dude. Like what the fuck? You would it's just like it's just such a small thing that they didn't need to add, but they added it, and you're like, oh man, like that's true. If a lot of people just read shit or see videos or whatever and believe it without like thinking where the source is coming from, what's the intention of what you're reading is. So I really like that about it too. I like that a lot.
The critical thinking, right?
Yeah, dude. Just like or just the media's role in like, you know, like times of war, or like, tumultuous times, like how much they could sway people depending on like, just depending on like if you're like a gullible person, or just, a person in crisis, and you read something, you're like, oh shit, this must be true. So yeah, it was I like that. It's pretty good.
Like they kept that kind of energy even until season 4, where when they're back on Paradise Island, and then the guy was like, "Who cares if this information is wrong? I'm gonna follow Aaron because I'm a descendant too. This is gonna benefit me, and this and that."
Oh, Flock or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's just
the redhead guy.
But even like the citizens, like, right? Remember when the bomb goes off
when they're protesting outside?
Yeah, and they're all like, no, like they're like, oh, and I was like, whatever. Like, I'm Italian. We need to fight for ourselves. Fuck these other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy because this manga was written a long time ago, but the anime came out during like, the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff. So it's just like, it's like
when did season 1 come out?
Season 1 came out like early 2000s. Where we're at
2013
in the anime, the manga was probably like written around like 3 years ago, 2-3 years.
Yeah,
ago.
it's a manga, right? That's what I read also. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, that's like even like all the misinformation that happened, like with the newspaper on the island and back at the mainland, and just how society moves with the information, because even on Marley, the information was used to control the people and the internment zones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, dude. It also, I mean, I'm not a big history buff or whatever, dude, but like I'm not a history buff, and what happened to the Jewish people in like, the Holocaust. I know bad things happen for sure, like the Holocaust. I'm not sure of like certain details. So when I'm like, paralleling both of them, like I don't think I'm gonna get it wrong, but I'm just not a history buff, so I'm not 100%, but I did know that Jewish people used to have to like identify themselves going to places like, hey, I'm Jewish, by wearing certain things. So when like in the show, when I saw the Eldians in the internment zone have to have passes to leave, and like had to wear the armbands, and like would get like spit on and like all that kind of stuff, kind of just reminded me of like, kind of what happened to Jewish people. Like it was like they were treated as like subhuman.
I don't think it was a coincidence that some of the uniforms on Marley looked kind of familiar, right? And the color schemes and the like when
like colors,
colors, or when Marley was flying the blimp around, because I think Germany invented the blimp, right? They invented the technology to do the blimp, right?
I think again, not history buff, so I'm just gonna say yes.
Here's a summary from Science: How Stuff Works.
Yep.
In 1852, Henri Giffard built the first powered airship, which consisted of a 143 ft long, cigar-shaped, gas-filled bag with a propeller, powered by a 3-horsepower steam engine. Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin of Germany invented the first rigid airship.
Yep.
In 1800s.
Yeah,
wow, I didn't even like think.
You didn't think about that?
No, it kind of, now that you say it though, like it totally makes sense,
Yeah, and it's not a coincidence either, where it seems like a lot of the settings is in Europe or Eastern Europe almost.
Yeah, it kind of does feel like that for sure.